Hey guys, welcome back. I wanted to do a follow-up review of my last review. This is still a 4-month, 300-mile review of the CSC SG250, but I wanted to add in a couple of details that I forgot on my last review that I think would help. So, how I found out about the bike was a RevZilla video they posted back in December 2018. And what caught my attention about the bike is they said it's affordable, so it's $2,000 brand new. It's $2,395 total, and they'll ship it to your house. They also said it's very lightweight, and it's small. It's a 250cc, and it's simple technology. So that had me interested in it. But what my concerns were, my first concern was the size of the bike. So I live on the East Coast, so I can't go to CSC in California and try out the bike and see if it's too small for me or not. I'm 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. So I started doing some research to figure out height on the bike. So the first thing I found is the guy that did the RevZilla video back in December 2018, his name's Spurgeon. And he also wrote an article for RevZilla that reviewed this bike. And that article goes into more detail than the video did, and the video is derived from the article. So I found that article. I'll put a link to it in the description. And he talks about, in the article, he says good luck getting a passenger on this bike with his 6'4", 230-pound frame. So when I read that, I thought, man, that's a big dude. He's 4 inches taller than me and weighs 30 more pounds than me. If that can carry him around and he's happy with it, then I should be good with it too. Another thing I was concerned about was reliability. So it's a Chinese bike, and a lot of times people don't have very good things to say about Chinese bikes. So I started to do some research and found that the reliability of Chinese bikes has gone up a ton in the last couple of years. So this bike is imported by CSC in California, and they import it from a Chinese motorcycle company called Zhongshan. And I believe Zhongshan is the second largest motorcycle manufacturer in Asia. And they make a ton of bikes. They also make a ton of components for bikes. So a lot of the brand new Japanese bikes, say, Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, Kawasaki, and even the American bikes, say Harley, Indian, and even Triumphs, they all have Zhongshan components on them. So a lot of the components on these bikes are manufactured by Zhongshan, and then these big name manufacturers put them on the bikes. When I heard that, that made me feel a lot better about it. I also found a couple forums. There's a forum called ATV Rider, and on ATVRider.com, there's a thread, I'll put a link to it in the description as well, a thread of a guy that bought a CSC SG250 and does some reviews on it over a couple of months just through the forum, and that was very informative to me. And what I learned from that forum is that CSC also makes, years before this bike came out, an enduro bike called a TT250. So they've been making that bike and bringing it to the US for the last 3 to 5 years. So it has the same exact engine as the SG250, but it's in more of a dirt bike form. And there are a lot of reviews on that on YouTube that you can go watch, and everybody is very happy with the reliability of that TT250. And on the ATV Rider forum, people were happy with the reliability of the TT250. I found another forum called ChinaRiders.net. They're very happy with the reliability of the TT250. And with all the information out there on the TT250 and it having the same engine as SG250, it made me feel better about purchasing this bike. I mean, we're talking guys putting 5,000 miles in the dirt on the same engine that's on this bike on that TT250, and it holds up just fine. So does the components of the body and all that on the TT250, and it's made by the same people as this bike, so I thought this bike has to hold up as well. On ChinaRiders.net, there's some good threads about reviews of the SG250 and the TT250, but the SG250, there's one specific review of this guy and his wife, they each bought their own SG250s, and they drove them all the way from Massachusetts to Florida and back. And they had no issues with it, and when I read that, that made me feel a lot better about purchasing this bike. So with purchasing the bike, I was interested in it. My biggest concerns were, will I fit it? I figured I would fit it after my research, and then my next concerns were reliability, and reliability's been, all the reviews were good on that. Based on the earlier bike they made, the TT250, that has the same engine as this, and people that have done a lot more miles on these bikes. So those are a couple details I forgot. Again, I'll put links in the description of those forums and that RevZilla article to help you out. And also look up CSC TT250 reviews on YouTube. There's a ton of reviews on them, and people are very happy with them. And that bike has the same guts, same engine as this one, same transmission, all that, just geared a little differently. They're made by the same manufacturer, so the build quality is good on both of them. I know the TT250, it's an enduro bike, so people beat the hell out of them, and they just keep going, so that made me feel better about this bike. On this bike, I would recommend it to people, but one thing I might upgrade on it is putting higher handlebars on it. You do tend to lean over a lot more, and on longer rides, that can get a little sore in your shoulders, and basically where your shoulders meet your chest muscles, right above your armpits. But I've gotten used to it. I exercise a lot, so I don't know if that helps, but I thought about changing it, but now I might not. It doesn't bother me too much, but it's a fun little bike. It's a good bike. I'd say if you're 6'4", 230 pounds or less, this is a good bike for you. Taller and heavier than that, you might need something with a little more power and a little larger, but all in all, I think it's a good bike. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, let me know. And thanks for stopping by.